My name is Josh Samman. I'm 23 years old. I'm a mixed martial arts fighter out of Tallahassee, Florida. I'm 6'3". I fight 185 pounds. I took up fighting just to get in shape and try to push myself and learn some new things. And I never really thought it would take me to where I am now, but I'm glad I started. I didn't have any aspirations to, become a world champion cage fighter or anything. It didn't take long. It was maybe a week or two before, I started to look up to the other fighters in the gym that did compete. And I had a knack for it. I had a natural talent. So my coach asked me if I'd like to compete, and I was 16 at the time, and he didn't even realize that I was so young. So I had to wait till I was 18. I think I started right before I turned 17. So I was training for about maybe 14 or 15 months before my first fight. It was in Valdosta at a convention center. It was against James Ashcraft, and he's not fighting anymore. But he was a short little, muscle head. So. I didn't really know what to think going in there, but I was prepared. I was in good shape. I won by TKO in the second round, and it was exciting. I was hooked after that, man. There was no turning back. It's the best high ever, It's a great feeling, man. It's just something instinctual about it, all the way back to your roots, man. The way I see fighting is kind of the original test of who's really superior, and so it feels good, man. There's no feeling like it. Took two amateur fights before I decided to go pro. Oh, I wanted to get paid. Amateur, you fight for free, and it didn't take many. It took 2 training camps and me fighting for free before, It really, in mixed martial arts, the skill level is not too much higher when you go pro because the entry barrier into the sport is very low. It's non-existent. So anyone can turn pro if they want to. And I wanted to, so I did. Your first couple fights, you'll probably make around $500. Maybe $300 to fight, $300 to win is kind of the standard for guys getting their first fights. My first fight, I got paid a good bit more than that. I think my first check was 6 and 6, which is the industry standard. You get a show purse and you get a win purse. And mine was so much because I sold so many tickets, and I had a lot of friends come to Jacksonville and watch the fight. So. But that's the beginning levels of the sport. So, when guys come in and they tell me they want to be pro fighters for their career, you got to understand there's so much, you got to grind it out. Training camps are awful and miserable times of my life, but it's good to be focused and have a goal and work towards something, and that's what really drives me. But on a daily basis, usually I try to get 3 or 4 workouts in a day, and some people, I tell them that and they call bullshit. But pretty much what I like to do every day is I'll do some cardio training, usually high intensity stuff, whether it be stadiums or sprints or something very fast paced and dynamic. I'll do strength training, which is going in the weight room and making sure that you're physically able and strong, and then technique, whether it be striking or grappling. If I get 4 workouts in a day, I'll do both. But that's the main thing, man, because a lot of times at all levels of the sport, it really just comes down to who's in better shape, I was lucky to start in the sport with a lot of guys who had experience with weight cutting, and I kind of just learned from them. But I'm about 215 right now probably, and I fight at 185, so you got to think when you start a training camp, you really do more cardio and you're burning more calories. So I'll probably get down to around 205, 200, and then the last week, it's pretty tough on your body. You just dehydrate and really cut your calories a lot. So I weigh in at 185 and then eat and drink and stuff your face, and the next day I'll walk in the cage anywhere from 200 to 205 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds heavier. So when you're in the cage and you're fighting, you're sharing a bond with that person, because there's only one other person in there, the cage with you, besides the referee. There's anywhere from 500 to 5,000 people on the outside, so after you've been through something and you've been under these bright lights, it's an experience, man. So yeah, there's a few guys that I've fought that I've kept up with and been friends with and actually trained with afterwards, just because we have that respect with each other.